Jeff, it's been a tough ground to film from. Tough ground.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Also a tough ground to be an honest commentator. We were talking about the benches are just right there.
Yeah,
They can hear every word you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
We try and reduce the amount of games we do there, but gee, that was a good game yesterday.
Oh,
absolutely.
cracking
Grand
game.
final replay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alright, let's check the time. Okay, 1 minute, boys.
Perfect. I should have my monologue. And the weather. Jesus. I can't wait to read that in.
Just don't say it's above 37 degrees, alright? That's what
No,
policy.
It's only saying 30, I'll say 35. Humidity. Northwest 30.
34.6 out of
Yeah, let's go with that then.
Yes, we have active support.
Look at the Westfield FFA Cup final was run and won in late November, but less than 4 months later, and the competition is already back up and running in northern New South Wales. And there's no better place to begin than here at the Grassroots. Today, live from Stockton's Carobba Oval, we have Jesmond FC taking on Hamilton Azzuri. The Rams from Jesmond are from northern New South Wales football's third tier, the Zone Premier League. And while their opponents, Hamilton Azzuri, have made the jump to the fourth tier in 2018 and Zone League 1. We're all set and ready to go in the sweltering Stockton heat, and the southern pool of the FFA Cup gets underway in northern New South Wales. This the second day of the matches in the southern pool. Just run through the keys from each of the lineups for the visitors, Hamilton Azzuri, this afternoon. The three men to look out for. Cannon Ford, he lines up between the sticks. He's the former Lake Macquarie backup keeper. He made 3 appearances for the Roosters in the NPL last season, with Ben Kelly out of the side. Joey Grudjewski, he's a high-profile off-season recruit for Azzuri as well. He played for Adamstown Rosebud most recently in the NPL and spent some time with Graham Law in that particular side. And a man to look out for on the bench, Wayne Bailey. He's a 53-year-old, and he will play alongside his 2 sons, Chris and Andrew. So look out for his impact off the bench this afternoon. For the Jesmond Rams, they've got 9 players in their starting side who played in the FFA Cup match last year in their third round clash, where they were knocked out by Cessnock, the New FM side. Andrew Townsend, he's one of those. He's a dead ball specialist who captained the side to an undefeated 2016 season, where they went undefeated in Zone League 1 and lost in the grand final to Raymond Terrace. Kane Riley, look out for him in front of goal. He's been the top scorer for the Rams in the most recent season. And finally, the Qatari, Yaya Salah. He scored last year in their Round 2 FFA Cup win against Qatara South. The weather here at Carobba Oval, it's very steamy. It's about 34.6 degrees to be precise, and the wind 31 kilometres an hour from the northwest. So it's going to be tough conditions for football. Alongside me is Liam Bentley from Northern New South Wales Football. Liam, I tell you what, don't you love being back at these grassroots facilities?
It's fantastic to be here, and what a better way to kick off the FA Cup here in the fabulous Stockton. It's a great place to play football, and should be a cracking match here, Ben.
Of course, you're from down south in Victoria, where you've been spending some time with the NPL. Bit different conditions, isn't it?
A little bit warmer. I'm gradually moving to warmer and warmer climates, from Scotland to Melbourne, then Melbourne to Newcastle, so gradually getting a bit hotter. I don't know how well I'm going to cope with the heat. 34 degrees out here for a day, so I've every sympathy for the boys walking onto the park right now.
Yeah, it's going to be tough conditions. You could probably hear the wind, so it's coming from the northwest. So from your screen, it's from the bottom left-hand corner across to the top right. That's where the wind is going to be coming across the ground. So we see the two sides line up in front. It's Hamilton Azzuri in that light blue kit, of course the Italian heritage, and Jesmond Rams in the yellow. Just on their last season's form and their FFA Cup form and history, the Rams have played in 10 FFA Cup matches. They've won 6 of those. Half of those victories came in penalty shootouts. Fascinating to see that they really are good in the shootouts. They've played 4 FFA Cup penalty shootouts. They've won 3 and just lost the 1. So they're hoping, if it does go the distance, that it goes to a shootout, because they've got some confidence in that department. For Azzuri, they have only played in the FFA Cup the last 2 seasons. They've won just the 1 match out of 3 played thus far. That was back in 2016 when they beat Barnsley. And their best run of form for both sides, for the home side Jesmond, I know we are at Stockton, but they are the designated home side. They made it all the way through to the round 6 clash with West Wallsend back in 2015. That was at the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility in the long weekend in June. So they had a great run that year. And for Azzuri, their best performance in the FFA Cup was in 2016, where they made round 3 and they were defeated by Broadmeadow Magic 17-0. And you can hear the Azzuri faithful. Got plenty of active support in here, Liam, this afternoon.
Oh, it's great to see a bit of colour at the FA Cup even at this round. We're so used to seeing it at the tail end, but I'm sure these Azzuri fans are not going to be quietly going into the night today, win or lose.
So it'll be Jesmond to kick us off, running from left to right in this first half in their predominantly yellow kit with the red socks. My question to you, Liam, is
Straight across goal, set pieces from this side are going to be extremely dangerous, and even coming from the other side, you'll be the keepers will be having nightmares about this ball catching up in that wind.
Jesmond looking just build a little bit of pressure here. Here's the ball played forward towards Ross Pigliosi, who of course played for Lake Macquarie Roosters in the NPL last season, scored a goal up against Western in their first round match last season. Just getting a toe in is Grajewski, another former NPL player in the Azzuri lineup. Jesmond look forward, turned over, and Cosentino on the ball. Wilkinson decides to use Cannon Ford, his keeper. 3 first grade appearances for Lake Macquarie last year when Ben Kelly was out of the side. The Roosters keeper. This little dart and movement. There's some space here for Jesmond as the ball played forward towards Kane Riley, who we mentioned pre-game. It's one to look out for Azzuri because he scored plenty of goals for Jesmond.
Yeah, certainly, and looking probably just look a little bit more comfortable on the ball going forward. They're now starting to just try and play the ball into feet on the edge of the 18-yard area. Not massively confident from the keeper. They're sliding out with the feet. You're looking for your keeper to come out and grab that early on in the first 5 minutes and make a bit of a statement that those one-on-ones are going to be his.
There he's forward looking for Simovic. Now with Nathan Andrews playing it forward to Sessions, who just slipped over, and Wilkinson was able to get on the ball and play it into Grajewski. Here's Reece Thompson. Said to me, well, in the pre-game notes, he said, even though he's very tall, he's not great in the air, but he's very, very good with the ball at his feet, holding it up in that final third.
And it's not always about being that good in the air when you're that size, but what it does is it makes it difficult for the opposition to win the ball from you. Whether you're going to win it and nod it on or not, you're just a big presence to get around.
So here's Salah. Costantino darting across, but the ball may have just crossed the line on the far side. Assistant referee with the flag up. Grajewski just controlling things in the midfield for the moment. Played forward to Reece Thompson. He's there to hold up the ball again. Grajewski. Now Andrew Bailey, the skipper for Azzuri. On to Ross Pigliosi, who's turned it over. Referee's going to play on. Bailey. It's away from Hyde and just crossed the sideline. I want to know from you, Liam, the wind, is it something that really makes it, evens out the contest?
It really does. Look, I think there's a number of factors that are leaving out this contest. The wind being one of them, the heat, and the fact that it's so early in the season. So I don't think you're going to see any. As we shot.
There's a chance for Jesmond, and the free kick will go the way of Hamilton Azzuri. As Kane Riley look to get free again.
Yeah, look, I think, as I was saying, there's a lot of factors here that's going to make that's going to even it all out, and whether this game, I don't think this game's going to be won or lost in the first half. I think come the last half an hour with this heat and being early in the season, that's probably going to be when some goals are scored, I imagine.
Grajewski probably had the most touches of anyone out there early on in this one. Again, he's back on the ball. Distributing wide to Wilkinson. Bailey. Now Tom Kane. Simovic, and it's going to be a Rams throw. It's the wind behind the Rams in this opening half, so you probably see most of the play down the Azzuri defensive end you'd expect in this first half. So they decide to go all the way back. They finished the 2017 season, the Rams, in 7th position in the Zone Premier League. They were very good in attack. They're the 3rd best attack, but it was at the back where they really struggled. They conceded the 3rd most goals in the competition. They scored 31 in the 18 matches, and they conceded 47. So that's where they'll be looking to improve this season. Cannon forward. Just chip forward for Pitchaloff. Here's Wilkinson, who's a former under-22s player. Braden Wilkinson with the Adamstown Rosebuds. I think it really interesting as you look through both of these sides, Liam, there's a lot of former NPL players, and I think that's great for the local competition. These players that have played a little NPL have a little bit of NPL experience, whether that be in the lower grades or in first grade. It just improves the quality all round.
Yeah, you can just see the techniques a little bit better. Those players that have been under the high intensity pressure, being in NPL, and that kind of brings a bit of calmness a little bit as well. One thing I've noticed as well, if you look at the way Azzuri are bringing the ball out from the middle, and as I say, it's not happening at the moment, but massive gap in between what looks to be the back six and forward four of Azzuri. When they get the ball at the back, they're looking up, and there's three players quite high, sometimes four, and not a lot going on in the middle of the park. There's no real option in that centre circle for them to play the 1-2. It seems to be either out wide or fall to someone like Reece Thompson to try and hold up.
Just as you mentioned, Reece Thompson, there he is, flicking it on, and Ross Pigliosi, and it will fall here for the Azzuri to Brady Randall, who was almost able to curl that one inside the far post, but Cameron Haynes in goals for the Rams was able to get out and thwart him.
Yeah, well closed down by Cameron Haynes there, and I think probably fell to the wrong foot for Randall there. If he'd been his right foot, he'd maybe get a chance to kind of curl that around, but under pressure from the defender, he's had to go with the left foot and just put it wide.
He was Jesmond's Player of the Year last year, Cameron Haynes, which is fascinating considering they can consider the third most in the competition. So I'm thinking, if it wasn't for him, it could have been a whole lot worse. He was a late starter to goalkeeping as well. He started in his late 20s, so interestingly there as well. Here's some space up ahead for Kane Riley. Looks central. It will roll towards the byline and over it, just in front of Lachlan Sessions. They had Michael Hyde coming in towards the back post as well. And Lachlan Moffat just trotting over to take this corner kick. And he won the Players' Player last year. Moffat calls this one back, and the strike from Nathan Andrews. It was only just wide. So some good chances at each end for Jesmond and Hamilton.
Yeah, and interestingly, didn't try and put the ball in that kind of no man's land for the keeper, given the wind. They've gone straight outside to take the shot. Thought they might just try and make it a little bit difficult for the centre halves and the keeper, given the ball holding up. Also, really interestingly, the height of Reece Thompson, he doesn't come back to defend corners. You think he'd be a massive weapon in defence.
It's a really interesting point, as we see Kane Riley almost onto that as Cannon forward with the throw. Wilkinson to Grajewski. He's got so much time, doesn't he? Joey Grajewski, as we say, Bailey, and now Wilkinson. Who, speaking of Players of the Year, Braden Wilkinson was the most outstanding player for the Blues last year. Cosentino. He's got Ross Pigliosi and Reece Thompson in the box. Decides not to use them and pitch aloft. Grajewski back to Ross Pigliosi, and Grajewski with a 1-2 with Thompson. It opens up some space, and Joe Grajewski forces Haynes into a superb diving save. That was the best chance we've seen so far, Liam.
Absolutely, and just as we wonder why Cameron Haynes was Player of the Season, it just goes to show how quick he got down. That wasn't far away. It was
Here's Thompson again holding up the ball, causing havoc. Ross Pigliosi cleared, well, pretty much cleared off the line. The clearance wasn't made. It would have been 1-0 for sure there for Azzuri. Kept forward by Pitchaloff. And after the ball was Brady Randall. Cameron Haynes awake to the danger. And he's just going to put it straight up towards the heavens. So Jesmond, after weathering the storm, now have their chance to go forward. Here's Grajewski. Looks forward towards Randall. He sees Reece Thompson there. Thompson with a no-look pass back to Pitchaloff, and now Grajewski. Ross Pigliosi. Sand-based pitch here at Stockton, as you would expect. It's a peninsula just to the north of Newcastle if you're watching from around the choppy with that 31-kilometre nor'wester blowing.
And look, just a good goal all round. Again, they've gone out the wide a couple of times and he's just come inside. Beautiful left foot curling effort. Again, can't really blame the keeper for that one, but a fantastic way to go. One ahead after 15 minutes here.
They just gave him too much space, didn't they? Open the Rams up down the Rams' left edge. Azzuri's right. And Jesmond, they're going to have to come from behind. It's Graham Dart. They've got the Vuvuzelas as well out there. Randall, infield towards Ross Pigliosi. Andrews looks forward. Here's the Qatari. Salah just getting fouled there. He was called up to his... So Reece Thompson just on Salah, his loyalty, now this is some notes I've got from Jesmond, his loyalty to the club has never wavered, and other clubs approached him last year looking to poach him, but he stayed strong to Jesmond. I'm sure they're pretty happy about that. He scored against Qatar South in round 2 last year. Long range strike from Costantino is straight to Haynes. There's Salah, and he's played it straight to the opposing captain. Now the referee's getting involved as well. Bailey. We may see his dad a little later. Andrew Bailey, 53-year-old on the bench. I can't wait for that, Liam. That's going to be exciting.
I mean, I found it quite fortunate I got to play indoor five-a-sides with my dad, but to play FFA Cup with your old man, that'd be absolutely fantastic.
We see Brady Randall just fouled. And another chance here for Azzuri. I'd say they're going to be looking for the tall timber here. We know Reece Thompson said he's not good in the air, but surely if you're that high, if you get a touch, you're going to be at an advantage.
Absolutely, and look, given the conditions, you'd be crazy not to be just swinging this in to drop in at the back post and maybe just sneak in over the top of the keeper.
So it's Krajewski on his left boot looking for Thompson. It may even curl inside the back post. We say they've gotten away with one there, Jesmond. Reece Thompson getting up slowly. Yeah, Reece Thompson, is it a wrist, is it, saying Liam, just fell awkwardly there.
Yeah, he did. I'm not exactly sure, but he certainly looks in a bit of strife. Not often hurting your wrist keeps you down, and it's certainly keeping him down just now. You can see the rest of the boys all absolutely thankful for the chance to come over and take on some fluids, but hopefully the big man's all right.
Doesn't look good at all, does it? Looks to be that left wrist which is causing him some problems. I have to make an early change here. Hamilton Azzuri, they've got Steve Kamaniolis on the bench. Kamaniolis, I should say. Wayne Bailey as well. Nico Papasporopoulos and Chris Bailey as well. So some tough names to pronounce on the bench as well there, Liam.
Like I say, I come from Victorian football. That's this is normal names for me. It's too many Smiths and Homers and Bentleys up here.
And that's the thing about Newcastle, not as diverse as other parts of the country. So it's interesting when you come up here, you see very Anglo-Saxon names.
Yeah, and just the way the clubs are built as well. Obviously, the I guess the ethnic strength of the clubs in Victoria is something that is I guess first and foremost and really at the forefront of a lot of the big clubs in Victoria. Whereas here, there's a couple of clubs where that's the case, but it seems to be a lot less of their identity than it is in I guess Victoria and maybe Sydney as well.
So you can just see Reece Thompson just in front of us. Just having a quick squirt of water, which is needed. It's up above 30 degrees here at Stockton, but that cooling breeze, I wouldn't call it that cooling, but it's better than having no breeze at all. You spray a bit of water on yourself, that'll make the breeze seem a little cooler. So just a little bit of miscommunication there between Ben Harding and Moffat, but Harding comes away with possession. Ben Harding apparently loves long walks on the beach with his girlfriend, so there's plenty of beaches here in Stockton that I think he could go for a long walk with his girlfriend on after the match.
I don't know if he's been set up there with those notes, but I'm sure his girlfriend will love getting the mention.
Oh, I love a bit of banter from Jesmond. Here is Moffat. This one played through towards Kane Riley. Just overhit, and that's the disadvantage playing with the wind for Jesmond. Those through balls and balls over the top just travelling a little further than what they'd be anticipating, and Cannon Ford is easily able to get out again and launch one long towards Reece Thompson, who's looking for Rospigliosi, who scored the opening goal. If you're just joining us, Stephen Rospigliosi played for Lake Macquarie in the NPL last year, scored the opener for Hamilton Azzuri. This one kneed back by Costantino towards Cannon Ford. Grajewski. It's been very impressive, hasn't he, so far, Joey Grajewski? Just controlling the tempo of the match in the midfield for Azzuri.
Yeah, he really has. He's looking up to try and pick a pass, and he's just calming down the football as it goes on, as it heads through to Sally, but no joy there. Will be a corner kick. And again, you'll be looking to just probably loft this one up in the air and let the wind do the rest.
So it's going to be Andrew Townsend. I mentioned pre-match, he is a dead ball specialist. Captain the regular season, or captain the side to that regular season triumph, winning the premiership in 2016. Where they went undefeated throughout the 2016 season. This is back in Zone League 1, the competition that Hamilton Azzuri are playing in this year. They went undefeated through the regular season, won the premiership and lost to Raymond Terrace in the grand final 3-1. And Hamilton Azzuri had a season like that last year in Zone League 3. They scored 101 goals in 21 matches, won 20, drew once and conceded just 23 times. That's a goal difference. Get your calculators out of plus 78, and they got 61 points out of a possible 63. So they've been moved up 2 divisions to Zone League 1, which is the 4th tier of football here in northern New South Wales. This one curled in. It's a glanced header away by Tom Kane. It's a little awkward. This one back into the middle. It makes it up for Jesmond, and it should have been finished there in the end by Lachlan Sessions at the back post. Andrews just showing his frustration there. That should have been 1-1, Lamb.
Well, I'm sure Lachlan Sessions was excited to find out Bar TV were broadcasting the game. I think he may be a little less excited after having his mates have a look at that. That's an early season one, that one.
Cannon Ford. Here is Sessions on the ball again. Wishing he had his time over again. Seller holds up the ball, threads it wide for Liam Clark. Rolls it into the middle. Just a warning for Hamilton Azzuri after they've started this one so confidently. As we tick towards the halfway mark in this round 2 FFA Cup match, Reece Thompson going with the curling shot towards the back post. Just curls wide. And just on reflection, Liam, as we near this halfway point of the first half, Hamilton Azzuri, you'd probably say just marginally the better side, but it's been pretty even.
It's been pretty even. There's been 2 real kind of standout points for me. Hamilton just look a bit sharper. They maybe just look a bit fitter in the pre-season, so that's certainly helped them a little bit. And probably the one key thing for me, if you look at Azzuri's chances compared to Jesmond's, Azzuri's chances, they've all come from balls to feet or people running with the ball at goal. Most of the chances that have come for Jesmond have been guys chasing 20-metre passes with the wind behind them, and that's been pretty hard. Obviously, Cannon Ford has been out a couple of times, but you know it's not an easy thing to do a 30-yard run and then get a decent strike on the ball, and that's what they're asking the strikers of Jesmond to do. Whereas up forward for Azzuri, they're getting the ball to feet. They've been able to turn inside and take the snapshot.
And especially in the wind, it's so important, isn't it, to keep the ball on the ground, ball to feet.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as you put any ball in the air, you just can't control it. You might get a gust, you might not. But again, another ball through to the air there, and again, Cannon Ford coming to claim.
You're mentioning before about those balls just into that no man's land, which sort of was there for Cannon Ford as he came out and grabbed it. He did make it look a little easier than what it was. It was swirling that ball in the air as Andrew Townsend, the skipper for the Rams, just unable to keep that ball in the possession of Jesmond. Cannon Ford. In his first appearance for Hamilton Azzuri, Cannon Ford at the back. Andrew Bailey. It's a former Broadmeadow Magic junior, but he's turned it over there. Grajewski nicking back in there to win the ball back. He also was a Broadmeadow junior, Grajewski, before moving to Adamstown. And Jesmond win the free kick, much to the displeasure of the Hamilton fans. Here's Graham Dart. Moffat. And Dart over the top again, but just offside. There's Kane Riley. I've never heard a louder cheer for an offside, I don't think, Liam.
I think, to be frank, these boys will cheer anything that goes their way, but it's nice to see the officials get a bit of love.
Probably not used to it as much as I would like. As here is Randall. Just a little push in the back there by Graham Dart on Randall.
I think Graham Dart just made the ultimate mistake in turning around and responding at the fans.
This ball lobbed over the top. There's plenty of, I'd call it friendly banter being hurled from the Azzuri fans towards the Jesmond players. But as we get on and the heat just starts to take its toll on the players, you sense there may be a little bit more frustration that comes out towards those Azzuri fans. As Cosentino, he's got a decent rap sheet as well. Hamilton Olympic, New Lambton and the Newcastle Suns in his previous clubs. Scored a 97th minute equaliser against Dudley to send Azzuri to the grand final on away goals back in 2017. That was for the Suns last year. I should say, sorry, back in 2017 with Azzuri. It was an interesting two-legged tie. They didn't win the entire season. Sorry, they didn't lose the entire season. Then first semi-final, Azzuri got beaten 1-0 by Dudley. And then in the second leg, they won 2-1 to go through on away goals after, yes, it was an interesting couple of legs. And then they went on to win the grand final last year, 2-1 over Bulwarra Lawn. As we see the free kick going the way of Azzuri. Yeah, that first leg, they lost to Dudley Redhead away from home. They lost that 2-1 and then won the second leg 1-0 at home before the grand final win. It must be hard, the amount of pressure that would be on you after scoring 101 goals, conceding 23, and then potentially going out in the semi-finals.
Certainly would be a lot of pressure there, but I guess the joy of a two-legged semi-final, they get to get back in the sheds and have a crack and say, well, we haven't lost, we're not going to do it again.
Here is Ross Pigliosi towards Thompson at the back post. He just couldn't keep his header down, Reece Thompson. Gee, I think he's being a bit harsh on himself in saying that he's not great in the air, because he got up, he got some power on the header. The only issue there was he just couldn't keep it down.
I couldn't tell if he actually jumped there, given his height. He just seemed to just get up a little bit, and he headed it directly back across, and he wasn't far away. I wouldn't be, certainly, you might not think he's too great in the air, but I wouldn't want to come up against him as a centre-half.
Well, he shrugged off that wrist injury. Just see, he's still having some problems with that left wrist. Just not great for him, because apparently the coach's word from Tom Kane, who's the player coach, the number 6 for Azzuri, said he's looked sharp and fit in the pre-season. It's Randall. As Harding looks forward. Nathan Andrews. Captain Highfield's Azzuri as a teenager did Nathan Andrews as he reached that ball across the tarmac to Sessions. Sessions sees his Qatari front man. Still Wasella. Can he square it across and bring the equaliser for Jesmond? It was a near thing, and they've gotten away with that with just a corner kick.
That's always a hard decision for the winger, the front man that beats that first man on the edge of the 6-yard box on almost an impossible angle, but no matter how sensible it is to cut it back to someone in the middle of the goal, 90% of your body tells you you're going to take a shot because you've got this far, and he did that, but they got the corner out of it, so not all lost.
Here it is, Moffat curling it in, and getting up first was Tom Kane. Tom Kane with the header there. He played his entire junior and senior career with Muswellbrook Eagles in the Zone League before moving to Newcastle in 2013. This one curled in. Bailey up there with the header. Now the strike from Townsend into the back of Krzyzewski. Just interesting also on Bailey, he played his juniors with Michael Kantorowski at Broadmeadow Magic, and he's a very skillful young player, but one thing you see with a lot of these players that are playing in zone leagues, there's a lot of them that have had injuries as young players, and they're great talents, and then they suffer a few knee injuries, and it's just hard for them to get back to that same standard again.
It is, and it's that physical pressure of a pre-season at that NPL level. It's long, your season's long, and it's long for a reason. You know, you want more football, but it really does take its physical toll. Whether you're coming through 23s or 20s or 18s or seniors, it really takes your toll physically. And you know, missing a month or two at this level, you know, you can get away with it. If you have an off season where you don't really do much for a couple of months because of injury, you can get away with it, and you can work your way back in. But at NPL level, that's just so hard to do, and then it becomes a bit of a fight for your position. And some players, you know, it's pretty hard to do.
He was told he would never play again. The number 3 for Azzuri. So great to see him back out there. He scored 15 goals in 36 appearances over the last 2 campaigns. Wilkinson back to that man Bailey. Goes all the way back to Cannon forward. Braden Wilkinson again, who was part of that starting lineup for Azzuri last year, who played in the FFA Cup and were knocked out in round 2 by Westlakes Wildcats 2-1. The previous year, they won their opening round match against Barnsley, I should say, in round 2, and they lost 17-0 to Broadmeadow Magic in round 3. As Cameron Haynes comes out and grabs that one out of the air. And that was back when the NPL sides were brought in at the round 3 stage of the competition. They've now been pushed back, and they come in pretty certain at the round 5 level. Just double checking with Liam. I know it's either round 4 or round 5. Maybe just round 4. I think you're right. So here's Grajewski. Pushes it through for Randall. On the turn. The clearance was well enough by Jesmond, but it's going to be another corner for Azzuri.
And you see again the difference there. That ball went to Randall's feet. Didn't go in front of him to chase for 10-15 metres. He got it into the feet. Didn't quite come of it, but he had the chance to turn and shoot or lay off. And I think that's been the difference in I guess both teams going forward.
So another chance for Azzuri to double their lead inside the final quarter hour of this first half. And the less said about that corner kick, I think the better. That just got the wind behind it and straight over the sideline. Here's Jesmond, push forward and just caught offside was Michael Hyde. I just had a quick scan of that, Liam. That is right. So round 4 is when those NPL sides will come in. New FM sides come in round 3, which is the next round. So Northern League 1 sides. This one hoofed forward. One thing I have noticed about Corroboree Oval here at Stockton, Liam, is the amount of bounce in the pitch. Plenty bounce. It's like a trampoline out there.
Yeah, certainly any of those kind of long high balls that you're playing through, there's been a few awkward controls, but if you're going forward, you're going to try and make the most of that and put the defenders under pressure.
Wilkinson again. Well, Grajewski's had plenty of touches in the midfield. So has Braden Wilkinson at the back for Azzuri. Randall holding it up in front of Dart. But it still remains 1-0 to Azzuri. Stephen Ross Pigliosi with the opening goal of this match when he broke free down the right edge. The referee just having a chat to Graham Dart, who was getting a little frustrated with the Azzuri fans earlier. Not sure how he is at the moment. Here's Salah. Trying to weave his way past Grajewski. Bodies everywhere at the moment. It's a little bit of fatigue just starts to set in at the back end of this first half. And going to ground is Liam Clark. And the free kick for Jesmond. This is just thinking Liam late on in this match. Considering this is still the pre-season, these two sides haven't started playing in their competitions yet. The heat, the wind as well, I just feel like it's going to get a little scrappy late on in this one.
I think there'll be a few frustrated challenges going in, as the boys would rather make the yellow card challenge and chase someone 20 metres as well. So certainly going to be tasty in the last 20 minutes, I imagine.
I think we're entering that phase of the first half here, as Moffat just looks to bullet that one straight and hard. Gets through plenty of work, Lachlan Moffat. He's going to have to run over and take this corner again. This is a tough corner to take because wind is straight into his face here coming from the northwest. Here it is, whipped in towards the back post. Rising was Ben Harding. Couldn't get the contact he was after. Reece Thompson holds it up. Gets it straight to Ross Pigliosi, who's back heel infield. Deceived his teammate, Reece Thompson. He's back on the ball now. Ross Pigliosi has played it in behind Semovic. And it's going to cross the line over on the far side. Just a win behind that one. Too difficult to handle for the Azzuri midfielder. Jesmond look to build it up again. Sessions. So way back for Townsend. Townsend chips forward. Cosentino's got to get on his bike and does so well. Looks centrally and well controlled there. Great first touch from Andrews to bring it under his control. This one called in by Townsend. Up they rise. It may fall at the back post for Sessions again. There was Wilkinson there alongside Pitchaloff as well to do the clean-up work for Azzuri. Ross Pigliosi. Krajewski sees the space. Bailey making the run. Curled infield towards Thompson again. That was a great challenge by Harding just to squirt the ball over towards Moffat against the touchline. It has crossed the line. So some more pressure here for Jesmond to soak up as Azzuri come knocking again.
You know, it just looked like the Jesmond were going to have a bit more pressure going into half-time. They had a couple of sustained attacks there, and it seemed like Azzuri had that forward three. Two of them had been dropping back and leaving Thompson on his own. But as soon as they got the ball out, kept the ball in midfield for a couple of seconds and gave that forward three a chance to get up and hold the ball up.
Randall weaves his way into the box and sliding in towards the back post was Semovic. Couldn't arrive in time though. And now Jesmond have a chance to break forward. Turning inside and out was Riley. Andrews. It's a calm build up here from Jesmond. Hyde. But it's been slow enough that it's allowed Azzuri to get back and just reset themselves. Andrews. Still with Nathan Andrews. And now with Dart just chipping forward. Really a ball to no one there in the end. Krajewski. Here's the turn from Semovic. Randall. He's got some open pastures ahead of him. He goes infield for Thompson, who looked to play through. Here's Krajewski to Thompson. Just not on the same page there as Ross Pigliosi. Just have a couple of words there. And he's a little fatigued at the back end of this first half.
I can't blame any of them. I'm fatigued just standing here next to you, Ben. But you can just see, and probably noticed it in the last couple of minutes, that wrist looks like it's really starting to bother Thompson. He's really holding it, and it's affecting his run, and I guess going to affect his physical contest with players as well.
Wonder if they might bring on the super sub, the 53-year-old Wayne Bailey off the bench. We'll find out. Looks as though they are going to make a change. And it's not Reece Thompson that is going to come off. Looks as though it is Jonty Bush, who wasn't actually on the team sheet. This is interesting, so I'll just have a quick scan of this, the number 7. I've got him on my notes, but he wasn't named on the team sheet. So maybe they forgot to put him on there, Jonty Bush, who's gone out there in 7. That's fascinating as it's played through towards him. And Cameron Haynes is out. So there you go. A little bit of interesting moment. He joined the club last year, Jonty Bush, in the 2016 Zone League campaign. And he scored 27 goals in 38 appearances for the club. The second top scorer for the club since they've returned to the Zone Leagues in the last few seasons. So he's one to look out for on that left wing. Here is Seller. And now Bailey. Just ghosted in there behind Seller, but it's back with the Rams. Here is Sessions. Quick on the turn, looking for Andrews. Turned over again. Just as it began to look promising for Jesmond. And they've got plenty of men back behind the ball here. Had 5 and 6 to break down the Azzuri attack, and this one over the top for Salah. It's not a bad ball. Very well played in there, and Cosentino is there to just knock it out for another corner kick.
I think it's just going to be let's get through to half-time. There's only a couple of minutes here. And Hamilton, other than they had one kind of attack not long ago, but it looked like they might be fading a little touch. And obviously making the sub might give them a bit of fresh legs for now. But the set piece, and I think they'll be quite happy to get this set piece and then get into some shade in the sheds.
It's interesting. They're not too concerned with giving away the corner kicks because Lachlan Moffat, he's had a lot of work to do over on that far side of the ground. It's been almost all. I think I've only seen one corner from this near side for Jesmond. All from that far side, which is, well, probably easy to work out with the wind lying over towards that side of the ground. Here's Ross Pigliosi. Tries to play the ball in towards Jonty Bush. And Reece Thompson was unmarked on the far side. He's frustrated he didn't play the pass, Ross Pigliosi, over to that far side. Haynes bombs it long. And it's been won back by Hamilton. Grudjewski now for Hasemovic. Here is Ross Pigliosi. He's got Reece Thompson making a run into the middle. He's unmarked. It's all timber. He's unmarked Reece Thompson, and Cameron Haynes is there to smother for the moment. Bailey on the turn, and it's just going to hit the roof of the net. But you don't want to leave a man as tall as Reece Thompson unmarked in the box.
Absolutely not, and to be fair, Cameron Haynes has done well to put him off there, but that's a dangerous ploy from Jesmond to leave him open, and I'm not sure if they were trying to play the offside trap and leave him alone there, but just no one near him.
We're ticking towards the final minutes of this opening half, round 2 of the Westfield FFA Cup in northern New South Wales, the Southern Pool. It's the first round of the Southern Pool, but round 2 overall. Stephen Ross Pigliosi with the corner, and not one of his best corners, but he's going to win another one. It's come off the knee of Townsend, and it's his goal, Stephen Ross Pigliosi's goal, which is the difference between the two sides. He scored 16 goals for the club last year after he left Lake Macquarie just 6 rounds into the NPL season. It's Tom Kane. Just gets a little bump, but that will do us for the opening half here at Carobba Oval in Stockton. And it is that goal from Stephen Ross Pigliosi, which is the difference between the two sides at the interval after he scored in the, the opening 20 minutes of this one. So half-time here at Carobba Oval. It's Jesmond FC 0, Hamilton Azzuri 1. Liam Bentley, just sum up that first half.
Fair, I think the score's fair at the time. I think it's been a relatively even contest, but Azzuri have just looked a bit sharper and a bit more composed up forward, and you know that composure up front has got them the goal. I don't think it's out of Jesmond's reach whatsoever. They've certainly got the ability to get forward, and maybe it'll be different with the wind going a different direction for them. But I don't think either team will be too upset going in at half-time with the results the way it is.
All right, well, we will take a quick break and be back in about 10 minutes here in this FFA Cup Round 2 fixture. Jesmond Rams looking to make it through to the third round for another year. They've never been knocked out in Round 2 in the previous 4 versions of the FFA Cup. And Hamilton Azzuri, they're looking to double the amount of wins they've had in the FFA Cup. They've only had 1 win so far across the 2 seasons they've played in the competition. So half-time, it's Azzuri leading by 1-0. We'll be back in 10. Hello and welcome back to Corroboree Oval in Stockton. The second half of this round 2 Westfield FFA Cup fixture. It's Jesmond FC taking on Hamilton Azzuri. And it's Stephen Rospigliosi, the former Lake Macquarie NPL player. He made the move from Lake Macquarie to Hamilton Azzuri after 6 rounds in the NPL last year. And he scored a bucket load of goals for Azzuri. He scored the opening goal here in round 2 of the FFA Cup. So it's Azzuri in the light blue. They're running from left to right in this second half. And the Rams from right to left in the yellow kit and the red socks. And Reece Thompson, the tall timber, up front for Azzuri. He's coached at Maitland. He's been the assistant coach there as well in previous seasons. He's been causing some problems up front for Azzuri for much of the opening half. We'll see if he can do likewise. He shrugged off a wrist injury. He's good to go now with Stephen Rospigliosi in the centre circle, and we are underway in the second half. The final 45 minutes of this round 2 Westfield FFA Cup fixture, and Liam Bentley is with myself, Ben Homer, in commentary here today. And Liam, do you see a way back into this one for Jesmond? They're going to be running into the wind in the second half.
Yeah, I do, to be honest. I mean, I don't think this is out of their reach whatsoever, despite what the vocal Azzuri fans next to us are trying to convey. I think this is all going to be down. If it's still 1 goal with the last 20 minutes to go, then it's anybody's match, because there's going to be some tired legs out there, and all it takes is one mistake, one misplaced pass, and we're back to level terms.
That was the issue for Jesmond in the first half. Those balls up and over the top, just getting too much wind behind them and pushing them beyond the front men. So this will help them just sit up the ball a little more. This one chipped perfectly up and over the top, and Cannon Ford gets out, makes the block as Salah almost was able to wriggle free and slot in the equaliser. Here's Sasimovic. Thompson. Now onto Bailey, who looked forward and tried to slot it through for Jonty Bush, who came on at the end of the first half. And now Krajewski weaving a play from defenders and taken down by Ben Harding. Is that a yellow card, Liam Bentley?
In one word, yes, I would say so. I think that's certainly going to be, he's very lucky to get away with that one. There's some run as well, but I think not only for the actual challenge, but it's a fairly cynical one as well.
It just scythed down Joey Krajewski, who I would say was probably the best player on the park in the first half. So Krajewski standing over on his left boot, and that one was never going in, always rising up and over the bar. And it would be very difficult, Liam, with this kind of wind blowing from the northwest, above 30 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, look, those floaty free kicks is probably pot luck, but I think you're looking for a driven free kick or a real curled effort to utilise the wind. But those floating ones are probably going to mostly land over the top of the bar.
So these two sides, in terms of where they sit in Newcastle or Northern New South Wales football, Rospigliosi, that would have hurt. He's rolled his ankle on the ball there. May have even hyperextended that left knee of his. Looked awkward. And he's just going to have to shake that one out. Yeah, so this season, Jesmond FC, they're in the 3rd tier of Northern New South Wales football in the Zone Premier League. And Hamilton Azzuri, they're in the 4th tier this year in Zone League 1 after dominating Zone League 3 last year. That's the 6th tier of football in Northern New South Wales, Zone League 3, and they were totally dominant, scoring 101 goals in 21 regular season matches. They've never been past round 3 of the FFA Cup. They'll be looking to make it to round 3 for just the second time if they can win this one. Azzuri. The captain, Andrew Townsend, now for the Rams. Chips it forward looking for Salah. And now Sessions, who had that golden moment in the first half to equalise and couldn't do so. Skrichevsky just nips in front of Sessions. And now Bush. Wilkinson spies Cosentino. Just trods on the ball. Now back he goes. Tom Kane forced into a quick clearance, which he got to Bailey, and Bailey in a pickle. He's turned it over to Salah. Can Jesmond make Azzuri pay? No, they can't. That one sliced wide by Sessions.
I can just see there Jesmond putting a lot of pressure, a lot of high pressure there. They never seem to do that in the first half. I don't think that's going to be able to last another 45 minutes given the time of the year and the heat, but certainly not giving the boys as much time to pick that pass, and we've seen that gap that you can probably see just now, that gap between the forward three and the rest of the team, that they need the time to pick the pass, and if you can actually put them under pressure, you're more likely to get either a misplaced pass or at least win the ball.
Krajewski coming across and clipping down Cosentino is Nathan Andrews, who will go into the book for the first yellow card of the afternoon's match, and I'd say he should have no complaints about that one as he just scythed down Cosentino. Here's Cosentino looking for Reece Thompson, and that's the issue they're going to have in their second half, Azzuri, with those balls over the top. The wind just getting under that one and blowing it up and over Reece Thompson's head.
Yeah, and to be fair, in the first half, they never actually played them so high over the top. That was the key to the, I guess, that forward pressure they had, was they were going to feet a lot of times to Thompson and to Raspiliosi. So it's going to be, if they're going to try and go over the top, they're going to cop the wind.
Here's Liam Clark. Just one of two players in this Jesmond lineup who didn't play in the FFA Cup last year with the side. So one of two. The other player is Cameron Haynes. So just two players out there for Jesmond this afternoon who didn't start in their loss in round 3 of the FFA Cup last year. They lost 3-0 to Cessnock. There is Haynes chipping forward, and he just couldn't keep it in with the wind blowing across the ground. That wind from the bottom left-hand corner of your screen up to the top right, if you've just joined us, very strong and favouring Azzuri. Cannon forward. He's just dwelled on the ball for a little. Andrew Townsend. And here it just opens up through the middle for Nathan Andrews again. He's been at the heart of everything Jesmond have done so far, Andrews, but just couldn't create the space there. Bailey, not on the same page as Ross Pigliosi or Semovic on this near side. But it just takes a little bit more time out of the game lane, so I don't think they'll be too disappointed.
Yeah, look, I think once the next 10 minutes tick over, they'll be starting to look for any ways just to slow the game down, just take a bit of time off, and I guess take the pressure off as well, because the key for Jesmond here is to put that really high pressure on them and make them enforce those mistakes.
So Thompson with the touch to Hasemovic. Plays it back infield to Reece Thompson, now with Bailey. Thompson holding off Andrews. Look at the height difference between those two, Reece Thompson and Nathan Andrews. Ross Pigliosi, lovely movement. He's able to get away from Moffat. Now Reece Thompson. Oh, I don't know what he was trying to do there. Was he trying to chip it over Haynes? He just didn't put his boot through it, and in the end, it was neither here nor there.
You know, I think if he'd done that at the other end, he might have been in with a chance of just sneaking under the crossbar, but certainly not in those conditions. But fair play to him. We're hearing that it's a broken wrist for Reece Thompson, and if he's playing on a broken wrist, that's a hell of a story if he gets on the score sheet.
I didn't say it at the time, but gee, the way he was holding it, I felt it may have been broken. But he's just gritting the teeth and pushing on Reece Thompson. Liam Clark was at university last season. Who didn't have a great season. They finished bottom of the Zone Premier League. And they shipped plenty of goals. It's a turn from Graham Dart. Just after it, and it's going to beat him over the byline. Townsend. What can the skipper conjure up here? It's in a bad turn there from Sessions, but they've given it back to Azzuri. Chipped wide by Grajewski. Touros Pigliosi. Haynes is going to have to get back. Squares it to Thompson. Now for Bailey, and he can't keep his shot down. He knew how important that was. Then Andrew Bailey.
I seem to go in slow motion there, Ben, in from the moment Raspoliosi got the ball, who was going to take the shot, then got it to Thompson and then off to Bailey. It just seemed like someone take the shot, and when he did, I think just too much pressure leaning back.
The goal just appearing too small at the moment for Azzuri. Just blazing shots over the bar and wide. It's Cameron Haynes. Looking for his tall timber up front. Did find it, and it allows the opportunity for Jesmond to push forward. Nice threaded ball wide by Hyde. Here is Kane Riley, a marksman who scored plenty of goals. He's been the leading scorer for Jesmond over the last few seasons. Change for Jesmond. Going on to the park for them is the number 31, Sean Carter. It's apparently been noted down as being after the coach's job, Mick Coates. Maybe a bit of a, as we say, Grajewski, a mutiny maybe at Jesmond, being led by Sean Carter. He's been sent out there to play it left back. Here is Moffat. First touch for Carter. Very versatile as well, so he can play wherever his coach needs him. Now Andrews sees Cannon Ford off his line, but he was just able to get back, and it held up in the wind as well. You sense if that was from the other end of the ground with the wind, Cannon Ford may have been under a little bit of pressure there.
Absolutely, and he done really well to spot the keeper off the line there and take the shot, but I think, like you say, the wind just probably held it up a little bit and maybe saved Ford's blushes.
Semovic, there's a neat back heel, but there's no one there in the box for him. And Cameron Haynes straight into the teeth of this breeze, but he gets some distance on the goal kick. Wilkinson, calm on the ball. And Cosentino, he had two men coming at him, Hyde and Salah. And a handball. I thought potentially a handball there against Cosentino, but there was a little push from Salah. Katari. There's Dart. Knocks it back to his keeper. Graham Dart, he's got an interesting backstory. He's been a part-time bodybuilder, once representing the Philippines. That's the right back for Jesmond.
I think you might want to tell the Azzuri boys that to the left-hand side before they keep getting stuck into him.
Yeah, they've been giving it to him a fair bit throughout this match this afternoon. Graham Dart may have a little bit of work to do here as Jonty Bush Just surveys the ground. He was looking for Ospigliosi. And the free kick. Referee was playing advantage, but he's going to award the free kick to Jesmond now. Should say Azzuri.
They're looking down, Azzuri! Come on, boys, pounce! Get him! Heads up, Yellow, you're looking shit!
So Rospigliosi slices that one into the penalty box towards Grajewski. Grajewski wide, he goes to Bush, and now Pitchaloff has some work to do. Wilkinson. Here is Andrew Bailey. And Rospigliosi just played that one in behind Jonty Bush. Wanted that pass played a little further forward, as you can see by his body language, and that would have been better. Use the speed of Jonty Bush, but breaks down for them, and Jesmond breathe a sigh of relief as they look to make something happen from this long ball over the top for Salah. Wilkinson just being held at arm's length by Salah. Takes it down to the byline. He does keep the ball in, but Tom Kane, the defence, Azzuri looking pretty rock solid at the moment. Wilkinson, Asemovic. Now Jesmond, there is some space over here on the left if they're keen to use it. Their side against it, Azzuri just shut down the channels. As Tom Kane chips forward for Rospigliosi. Cameron Haynes is out again. But at the moment, Liam, I just can't see a way through for Jesmond. The Azzuri defence has been so miserly, and as I say that, here is Salah with the turn, and now the strike straight into the arms of Cannon Ford from Kane Riley. He's looked the most likely, and up until that point, Jesmond really hadn't threatened in the second half.
Nah, they absolutely hadn't, and they almost gave Azzuri the commentator's cuss there, but I think like if anything's going to happen, it's going to come through Riley and Salah. That's the only two that are, I guess, can turn on defender, and I think that's what they're really needing now, someone that can actually get past someone and take the shot, and Salah's that man that can turn, and it looks like Kane Riley might be the man to put the finishing touch on it.
You feel that's their avenue to go, Kane Riley. Here is Bailey. He had Townsend coming at him. And now a little nutmeg. Well, that'll make the Azzuri fans very pleased. And then Moffat unable to keep the ball inside the line. Cosentino with a long throw. Rospigliosi takes it in the air and just put it wide. The Azzuri fans in full voice. It will be Cameron Haynes, who recently celebrated his 40th in Las Vegas. So I'm sure he enjoyed himself, Cameron Haynes. We will have a quick pause in play. So we see another change for Azzuri with Stephen Kamaniolis heading out onto Karoba Oval here at Stockton. This match between Jesmond, the home side, and Hamilton Azzuri, the away side, being played here at Stockton. I'll come back to that. Jonty Bush down the left flank. He's got Rospigliosi, Reece Thompson there, and couldn't find either of them. Tom Kane plays it to Thompson. And here is Kamaniolis. Still Kamaniolis gets pulled down by substitute Sean Carter. And another free kick within range here for Azzuri. They'll look to kill off this match. You sense if they grab a second, it's going to be very, very difficult for Jesmond.
Look, one thing I've noticed about Azzuri right now is they're still playing pretty high. They're still leaving those 3 or 4 players forward. I sense if they get a second in the next 10-15 minutes, that changes. And, you know, playing against, 10 men kind of behind the ball is going to be a hell of a task for Jesmond to get through. They're struggling to get through that defence right now. I think Gruevski and Wilkinson have been absolutely solid and just not letting them through there. And if they get a goal in the next 10 minutes, it'll be very, very difficult.
So Gruevski didn't have his radar on with the last free kick from this kind of range. It was more central. This time from further out to the right. He curls it in, but Cameron Haynes deals with that one quite easily. As I was mentioning, this match being played here at Stockton due to the availability of grounds, and the home side, Stockton Sharks, they're up against Warners Bay in the next match. So a long trip for Warners Bay here to Stockton from down in the Lake Macquarie local government area. A little further south of Newcastle. It's Jesmond. The free kick going their way, taken quickly by Townsend. Feeds in the striker in Riley, and now Salah. And you get the ball on his right foot. Still Salah, he just slips over in the box. Azzuri players getting in each other's way. Kamaniolis is able to reef this one down the line. That's a very neat ball from Ross Pigliosi to Bailey, and now Jonty Bush over on the left edge. Straight through the heart of the Jesmond defence to Reece Thompson. Kamaniolis. Now it's with Bailey. Ross Pigliosi, Kamaniolis, Reece Thompson. Well, gee, there was some interplay there from Azzuri, but Reece Thompson just caught offside. And we are going to have a drinks break in their second half due to the high temperatures here in the Hunter region today, well up above 30 degrees, even though there is a nor'westerly blowing. It's not the coolest breezes at Lamb.
It's I like to refer to as hairdryer weather. It's a wind, but it's hot. Look, I think that last 60 seconds of play just summed up the difference between the two sides. I think the sharpness of Raspioli's play there, and then the play on the edge of the box has really shown, I guess, the difference in maybe not technical ability, but just in sharpness at this time of the year, and that's probably led to more shots and I guess more possession in meaningful areas for Hamilton Azzuri. Boys will certainly enjoy taking on the extra water, and it is about 33, 34 degrees here at the moment, so they'll certainly enjoy a nice drinks break.
This time added on at the end for this drinks break with the stoppage in play. The clock continues to tick.
I know, I tried to get a shot before you moving it. Pretty swollen.
You just hear Reece Thompson just having a chat about that wrist. It's a left wrist. You can see it dangling down by his side there, the number 33, tallest man on the ground. It's suspected to be broken after a fall early on in the first half, just before Stephen Ross Pigliosi opened the scoring. So we're going to resume with that free kick to Jesmond after the offside against Reece Thompson. And Haynes pilots this one onto the head of Andrews. And Reece Thompson, he's taken that a long way off the mark and be brought back.
I don't think there's any accident. Reece took that long way off the mark and put it 30-40 yards forward. I think that's an experienced player using every minute of that experience to buy an extra couple of seconds for his team in a hot day.
Yes, very intelligent from the tall front man. Gruevski to Bailey. Kamaniolis easily gets past Sean Carter, but isn't able to evade Townsend with the ball. There's Sessions, and now Bailey with a shoe in as well. Townsend with the turn. He may have played it straight to Kamaniolis, and that was very good body positioning from the number 6, Lachlan Moffat. So if he didn't get his body into that kind of position, it was going to be Kamaniolis to tee up someone in the middle of the box.
I think just as well, a couple of times there, it seems like Jesmond, when the ball's up in there, are a bit more focused on the physical contest. And it looks like the Azzuri boys are just focusing on the ball and winning that ball a bit quicker.
So Ross Pigliosi with the wind, assisting that free kick, that corner kick I should say, and it's beaten everyone. Here is Bailey. Kamaniolis to Grajewski, who has acres of territory in front of him. Jonty Bush makes the run down the left flank. And he's offside, Jonty Bush. It's a late call from the linesman. As the referee, he's going to go with the linesman's decision. I wasn't sure if he was waving away the decision from the linesman and going to play the goal kick, but he will take the advice of the assistant and award the free kick to Jesmond. Haynes towards Andrews again. It's built low to the ground, has such good close control. Nathan Andrews, former Highfields Azzuri captain, a teenager. Now with Moffat, just got caught under his boot there. That pass forward by Lachlan Moffat. And it's been won now by Reece Thompson. Yeah, Townsend coming at him. Thompson able to wriggle free and almost play it to Ross Pigliosi, who, had he received the ball, would have been free. Now with Andrews, the outside of his boot, plays it through. And Kane Riley almost getting there, but Cannon Ford was there first.
I think Andrews is just trying to insert himself in the contest here as well. Beautiful ball through there, just a little bit too heavy, but if he can just start to get a bit more possession and just on the edge of that final third, you think maybe things could happen if with the likes of Riley and Salah around him.
So Cannon Ford, again, he's happy to just control the ball at the back and build it up slowly again. Cosentino, they're leaving that midfield open. Jesmond again. Riley getting back to do some defensive work. Andrews. Why'd they go? A little 1-2 played between Hyde and Sessions. Michael Hyde. Bill Peden of the Jesmond Rams. Was former Newcastle Knight Bill Peden. Player everyone wants to play with. Number 10, and it looks as though he's going to make way, Michael Hyde. Put in a good shift this afternoon in trying conditions. And it's going to be Craig Fuller who is heading out onto the ground. And this could be interesting. He's the quickest player at Jesmond, so he may be one to watch here. Craig Fuller.
Well, I think they're going to need that speed. It looks like when they're trying to play those balls through or trying to break through, that little bit of speed might be the difference between them. I guess a couple of those balls that have rolled out at the goal line.
And also a change being made with Papasporopoulos going on in number 16 for Hamilton Azzuri. Former Hamilton Olympic junior who joined Hamilton Azzuri last season. Manoli Papasporopoulos. I'm just going to get my tongue around that one. Is part of the Lake Macquarie NPL setup. On the fringe at the moment. So his brother Nico in action this afternoon off the bench for Hamilton Azzuri. Now, unfortunately, that means we're not going to get to see Wayne Bailey this afternoon. The 53-year-old off the bench, dad of that young man, Andrew Bailey, who is almost there to flick it on to Reece Thompson. Skipper, who was outscored by his dad last year. He only scored 4 goals, Andrew Bailey. His dad, Wayne Bailey, scored 10. He's a former Charlestown City Blues legend who was only just overtaken by Scott Smith a couple of seasons ago as Charlestown's leading all-time goal scorer back when Scott Smith was at Hamilton Olympic in 2016. And we see the free kick awarded to Azzuri, and the fans are enjoying that. You can see the frustration on the face of Kane Riley. Not impressed with the referee's decision. Just breaks their momentum as well.
It does a little bit, but I think they do need that little bit of fight in them now. They're going to have to fight for all those balls, and they might give away 2 or 3 free kicks. But I think that could be the difference between them, really putting that pressure on and maybe getting a break to send away Salah, to send away Craig Fuller. We're going to have to keep that pressure up in the last 20 minutes.
So Moffat. Oh, he played it over the top. Looking for Fuller, who he said you've got to look out for because he's got plenty of speed. Hamilton fans cheering every throw, every free kick, everything that goes their way at the moment. Here's Reece Thompson just holding off Ben Harding. Oh, we're in a real tangle there. Cosentino. Still going Cosentino, fires away, slices that one into the fans behind the goal. So Cameron Haynes, forward he goes towards Riley, and it's been turned over again here by Jesmond. Be a throw for Papasporopoulos. So Papasporopoulos throws forward for the tall timber of Thompson. Andrew Bailey. The ball towards Pitchaloff, and his pass towards Jonty Bush goes awry. So just getting a bit scrappy here towards the final quarter hour of the match, Lam, as that fatigue sets in.
I think this is it's going to be make or break the next 5 minutes without being too obvious, but here's Craig Fuller on the right.
Well, this is the speedy front man for Jesmond. Fuller squares it across the face. Riley, Salah's also there. Salah on the turn, and Cannon Ford with a great save, and he's able to get it back under his control. And that was a huge play from Cannon Ford.
It's 2 great saves, to be honest, as well. That follow-up as well, he really had to get up and block the ball there. But you've seen the speed of Craig Fuller going down the right-hand side, and it really caused some problems. I think great footwork there by Yaya Saleh to not just strike it first time, but actually take the time to put it onto his other foot and get the shot across. But great work by Cannon Ford there to keep both of those shots out.
But that's going to be the concern for Azzuri, is that speed of Fuller down the right flank. And while Jesmond haven't threatened much in the second half, it'll only take one moment. Here's Andrews, across the face. And somehow Craig Fuller has an equaliser. Well, that's two moments. Craig Fuller and Lachlan Sessions have had golden chances for tap-ins at each end.
Absolutely, and it's not, if they don't win this, it's going to be for, I guess, the lack of quality in the finishing, and I guess that's where Azzuri have been a touch better. They've got the goal, but you've got to think that probably Cannon Ford had more genuine saves to really make, and especially in these last 5-10 minutes, there's been a few chances for Jesmond, and if they keep up this pressure, maybe one of them's going to pay.
Well, Azzuri have controlled much of the match. They haven't really created too many golden chances. Jesmond probably more so in terms of, you know, the big chances they have created. Azzuri's finishing hasn't been superb. Rospigliosi with that one great finish, but apart from that, as Liam was saying, Cameron Haynes, he hasn't had much to do in the way of big saves. So the free kick here for Azzuri, a chance for them again to put Haynes under pressure. But a lot of their free kicks have just been drifting too long and straight into the arms of Haynes.
Just, I'm not sure why today of all days we're going with floaty free kicks. They're just leaving it up to the mercy of the winds and not either ignoring the wind and hitting a driven free kick or trying to utilise it. It just seems like kind of floating in and hoping something will happen rather than some real momentum behind it.
So a reminder, this one the first of a double header. This is the only match on Bar TV. But Stockton taking on Warners Bay at 3 p.m. here at Stockton. So if you're in the area, come and check it out. Stockton almost knocked out New Lambton last season in round 3. The side from New FM Northern League 1. Those clubs coming into this FFA Cup competition. The southern pool of Northern New South Wales in the next round. Round 3. So Sessions chipping over the top. That was well controlled by Wilkinson. And makes the move forward. Moffat was diving in towards Rospigliosi. He was dispossessed, and now Lachlan Sessions flows forward. Chips forward for Riley. Cannon Ford coming out. He's done well, the former Lake Macquarie goalkeeper. Moffat to Andrews. We'd probably say has been the best out there for Jesmond, and as I say that, scuffs that pass and turns it over. Azzuri via Reece Thompson. Thompson along the tarmac. He's frustrated with that ball as he looked to play it wide for Papasporopoulos. Here's Reece Thompson again. Can he make this ball to Papasporopoulos? He can, because Sean Carter had pushed forward out of position at left back. Papasporopoulos across the face, and Moffat again. She's put his body on the line this afternoon, Lachlan Moffat.
It has to be honest, there's been two kind of standouts defensively, one on each side for me. Moffat's been quality, he's just put his body in the way, and it might look a bit unorthodox at times, but the amount of shots and crosses that he's stopped is phenomenal. And I think at the other side as well, Braden Wilkinson has been an absolute rock at the back for Azzuri. Everything that's came near him, he's cleared, he's won, he's got through. Hopefully I don't curse either of them at the moment, but it's been two fantastic defensive performances.
Kamani making the run short, but they go long towards Bailey. He just ducked under it in the end. So Craig Fuller unable to run that one down. Less than 8 minutes to go here in round 2 of the Westfield FFA Cup in the southern pool of Northern New South Wales football. Can Hamilton Azzuri double the amount of FFA Cup wins they've had? They've only had one for this match this afternoon as Reece Thompson goes to ground. And Reece Thompson is suspected of breaking his wrist early in the match. He's played on with it strapped up, the left wrist, you can see it just dangling by his side. This one chipped forward. Townsend, strong in the air, wins the ball. But he's not going to reduce the pressure on the Rams at the moment. Still, it's that Stephen Ross-Pigliosi goal that separates the sides. If you missed it, he darted down the right edge, found some space, and then cracked the ball across Cameron Haynes in the Jesmond goal and into the back of the net. And while they have controlled much of the contest, Azzuri haven't made it count on the scoreboard. And Jesmond are still right in this contest. This one called towards Reece Thompson at the back post. He rose up and will be cleared away by Jesmond. Riley just unable to keep it in. I just noticed there, Liam, Reece Thompson just called out to the bench. Is there any subs left? And there are none for Hamilton Azzuri. So he's clearly failing that wrist, I feel.
Yeah, I think that and the conditions, maybe if it wasn't such testing conditions, he might get away with it, but maybe just that fall from the foul a couple of minutes ago. He did try and manage that wrist through it, but even just a vibration of banging your elbow when you've got a broken wrist can certainly, put something in Nurofin's not going to help.
Exactly, you need some pretty strong painkillers. Here is Carter into the middle, and there's Wilkinson again. You've been so impressed by him today, Liam. Here is Ross-Pigliosi. Got a man down in the middle of the park. And out with space in front of is Kamaniolis, but he's run away from goal. Plays it infield to Ross-Pigliosi. And Moffat is back again. The two men who have been outstanding at the back. As Tom Kane sliding in towards Moffat. And then Jonty Bush trying to strike from distance, but there's still an issue at the back. It looks to be cramp for Hamilton Azzuri, and that's the issue with this heat.
I think just as well there, I think, the fans were maybe getting on his back a little bit there, but I think that was quite smart from Kamaniolis as well. He could have gone the chip. The likelihood of them actually coming off is probably about 100 to 1, and he's kept possession, and he's kept the ball up there for another 10, 20 seconds, which is getting to the point of critical when it comes to...
Might fall over the back here for Fuller. On the turn, still Fuller, and Cannon forward again, gets it clear. Can they build it up here? Azzuri, and finish off the match. Reece Thompson. And his pass towards Kamaniolis wasn't within his range. Andrews. Chipping over the top for Fuller. Papasporopoulos got in the way. Just able to thwart him for the moment. Still in possession is Kane Riley towards the corner flag. Well, he wasn't able to keep it in, but it did come off Papasporopoulos, and a corner kick straight into the teeth of that Nor'Wester for Stockton. It is going to hold up. Here it is, curled in. Andrews down in the box, and Fuller's put another one over. Well, he will not want to see this reel back, Craig Fuller. That's two sitters he's had, and he's put them both over the bar.
Well, they do not come much better than that. Less than 5 yards out, straight in front of goal, and somehow he's managed to put it over. That's he'll be having nightmares about that one. And you say in the last 5 minutes you'll generally always get one chance. That might be it. But I also thought it was quite strange that they rushed that corner kick. There was still 4 men at the back for Jesmond. 1-0 down in a cup tie, and they still had 4 men at the back when that corner came in. I don't know about you, I might be a bit old-fashioned, but get the boys up and put the ball in the mixer.
Here's Jonty Bush. I think that's a fair point. Back in my all-age days, Lamb, as we see Bush get cut down by the former bodybuilder himself, Graham Dart, who's gone into the book for a yellow card. Yeah, back in my all-age days, I took a short corner very quickly, and I copped torrents of abuse from my teammates. So, yes, I do agree with you, but Craig Fuller almost caught them off guard there. And I think Graham Dart's happy he's across the other side of the ground because he was copping plenty of abuse from the Azzuri fans in the first half. He's at the furthest possible point from them now. In the one-man wall. The bright orange boots. Ross Pigliosi straight to Moffat. Read it like it was in last week's newspaper. Here is Fuller. Riley. And there's Wilkinson again. Jonty Bush. Ross Pigliosi. Plays into Kamani-Olis. And his back heel was to no one in particular. Played through the lines now. And is Fuller away. He's bumped down Cosentino. The referee's going to play advantage. Not quite sure if there was much advantage there as Cannon Ford goes down and grabs it, and he's cramping up again, Cosentino. And they've got no substitutions left. And Graham Dart, you probably hear the Azzuri fans. Graham Dart has yelled from the far side of the ground back at these Azzuri fans who have just hurled plenty back at him again, Liam.
It's just the golden rule. Just don't talk back, because as soon as you do, they have got you on a line. And even though he's about 70 yards away for most of this second half, they've certainly reminded them of the score.
We tick towards the final minutes of this one. Cannon Ford slices it over the sideline, so still an opportunity for Jesmond to equalise. They've shown they're capable of getting in a position to equalise. The question mark is around their finishing. That's what'll come out of this match. If they do lose, I'll be furious with the way they finish this afternoon. It's Graham Dart. He's looking towards the back post, but getting up high with Papasporopoulos. Lachlan Moffat. Calm as always. Now this one chipped forward, and Cannon Ford cops a shoulder for his troubles from Lachlan Sessions, and the referee is just going to let play go on. Fair enough, let the game flow, and Reece Thompson. Again, he's dropping a little further back now, Reece Thompson, and now Kamani-Olis is after it. Spies Ross Pigliosi, just held up the ball nicely. Ross Pigliosi looking to seal it across the face, and Townsend is back there. Azzuri fans appealing for the penalty after Ross Pigliosi was cleaned up by Moffat late. No decision from the referee, and Andrews wins the throw for Jesmond.
It's a penalty for me. I think it's one of those ones that, had he not got the cross just before that tackle would come in, it would have been a penalty every day of the week. But because the ball had gone, referee's attention had gone to where the ball was going, and got away with that one.
Kamani-Olis will get there first, just in front of Moffat. And the corner will go the way of Azzuri, and that's as good as a goal at the moment, as I'll just be able to slow things down, take it to the corner. What would you do here, Lane? Play the short corner and just try and hold it down there?
I don't know. I'm not a fan of the short corner unless you've got 2 or 3 actually out there, because as soon as you lose the ball in a short corner, it is dangerous. But at the same point, they've only got 1 in the box, so I don't think there's any option for them but to keep it out there and maybe use Thompson.
So still, it's going to be that move in the corner. Ross Pigliosi holding it down there and winning the throw. Kamani-Olis isn't in a hurry to grab back possession. It's that gamesmanship played in this knockout tie. So Kamani-Olis, he's thrown it straight into the snoz of the Jesmond man in front of him. That's one of the more interesting throws you'll see. Reece Thompson can't retain possession, and it will be Azzuri who go through to round 3 of the Westfield FFA Cup. They claim just their 2nd FFA Cup win after 3 seasons in the competition. They make it through to the 3rd round for just the 2nd time in their history. For the first time, Jesmond are knocked out in the second round. They've always made it through to at least the third round. This year, they're not going to get past round 2. Full time here at Corroboree Oval in Stockton. It finishes Jesmond FC 0, Hamilton Azzuri 1. And Liam Bentley, great start to the FFA Cup here at the grassroots level.
Fantastic start, really close match, really entertaining match, and I think probably Azzuri probably just edged it. Like I said earlier, I think their finishing was probably the difference, and just again a little bit sharper, and maybe just different points to their pre-season. But I think Azzuri well worth the win, and they'll certainly put up a fight provided Rhys Thompson can recover from the broken wrist. They'll put up a fight to whoever they get in the next round.
They've got a strong side, haven't they? And those former NPL players are going to hold them in good stead going forward as they get fitter into the Zone League 1 season. I think it'll really help them.
It certainly will, and you could just see the players that likes Gruevski. He played almost that kind of Paul Pogba role at the back in there, just kind of having a look, but starting a lot of the attacks, really pushing up. But he also seemed to be there just to kill off quite a lot of the attacks of Jesmond as well. And players like that and the few others around him, they really make that difference in being able to just hold up the ball and I guess keep possession just in those moments where it is getting a bit tricky. And it did get a bit tricky 3 or 4 times late in that second half. Jesmond really put the pressure on, and to be honest, they got quite fortunate. Fuller should have put that in the back of the net. He should have absolutely buried that. Session should have done it earlier in the game as well. So they got fortunate, but they got through.
Exactly. So Hamilton Azzuri through to the third round of the Westfield FFA Cup, and I think the celebrations are well underway for their fans, and I think they're going to have a big night by the looks of it. So that wraps it up. Great to have your company in round 2 of the Westfield FFA Cup. A reminder, the next match on here at Stockton is Stockton Sharks taking on Warners Bay. So that should be an interesting clash as well. So if you're in the area, come down and check it out. So that wraps it up here from Corroboree Oval, in Stockton. It finished Jesmond FC 0, Hamilton Azzuri 1.